Hi, friends, and welcome back to Elevate with Erica. I want to start today's topic by sharing with you that my family and I celebrated Christmas in July last month. And if I'm being totally honest, it was mostly me who went way over the top this year. Um, when this sort of thing has been done by my family in the past, it basically consists of push and play on Home Alone that evening with the kids. But I went a little extra this year. I don't really know why. Maybe I just wanted to feel the joy after everything we've been battling this past year. And maybe I'm realizing that my babies are not quite babies anymore. Maybe I did it just to see my husband's face when he got home from work. And by the way, he absolutely loves all things Christmas, by the way. I don't know why I did it, but maybe I did it for all of those things. And I got this idea in my head of what I wanted to do, and I ran with it. So, yes, I pulled the Christmas decorations from out of the attic. Now, we always get a real tree for our main living room, but in my office over here sits, if you're on YouTube, I'm pointing to where I normally put my tree in here. I started putting up a fake tree a few years ago. So, fortunately, I could pull that out for our Christmas in July celebration. And I pulled out the majority of our indoor decorations too. Now, my husband handles decorating the outside of the house and the majority of the decorations on our main family tree, because the vast majority of those decorations on that tree are ones that he's had long before I came into the picture. So I kind of decorate my office tree as my little thing and the rest of the indoors. And typically, I'm leaving 4 hours to do this during Christmas. Well, on this day, I knew that I had no business dedicating 4 of my working hours to prank my husband. So my kids are home with me, of course, it's summer break. So I told myself, all right, I'm like, you've got 30 minutes to do this. I allotted myself that time, and that was it. Do you know that I got that fake tree up and spread out? Which, if you have an artificial tree, that's not always even the easiest thing to do to fill in all the gaps. I got that thing spread out and I put the decorations around the house in exactly 30 minutes. It's a pre-lit tree, by the way, so a little cheat there. But normally 4 hours to do all of this. I did it in exactly 30 minutes. Now, the Christmas music was blaring when my husband walked through the door, and it was worth it to see his face and to see my boys happy. It's like we all just got lost in that Christmas spirit for the night, and it was beautiful. Now, I did also have to grab some cheese pizzas for a Home Alone tip, purchase them each gifts under $20, of things that they actually needed anyway. Like, I was gonna have to buy them soon anyway. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll get these things and I'll just wrap them and put them under this artificial tree for Christmas in July. We played board games like we normally do that time of year, and we watched Christmas movies all night. We even all put on our Christmas pajamas. Maybe not my 14-year-old. He was a little bit too cool for that part, but we had so much fun. And all that being said, how the heck did I pull off in 30 minutes what I normally do in 4 hours? Even one of my husband's first comments was, and he didn't just blurt this out when he walked in as like a hurtful thing. My youngest said something, and then off of that, my husband was like, I was thinking you had too much time on your hands, as well as some other similar comments like that from friends and family on social media. It genuinely did not look like I did that in 30 minutes. I also packed it away in 30 minutes, which is a whole other win. So today's topic, out of all of that, is perfectionism. I want to dismantle the hold that it has in my life. And I want to be clear that it's not about lowering your standards, which I once correlated it with. High standards are motivating, right? Perfectionism is dysfunctional, and it holds us back and it keeps us on this hamster wheel. And what I noticed about putting those decorations out, laughing with my boys at the thought of my husband's face when he got home, is that I was enjoying the process so much more than when it's just another pressure filled to do in December. I actually decorated in November of last year, but anyway. Hunter was putting things wherever he thought best. I was just trying to unload the boxes as quickly as possible. And you know what? It was beautiful. It was so beautiful. I took a video um, that I shared in my Instagram stories too, and I might have to do a little post over once I get this episode out there. But my husband was actually sad to see how fast I also took it down the next day. Not worrying about doing it perfectly or doing it because I felt like I had to brought such a spirit of joy to the whole situation that felt almost childlike. And it's easy, I think, as we become adults, and I'm sure so many of you can relate to this, to forget about what Christmas felt like as a child and forget about the gifts for a moment, right? Because that's not what this is about. I'm talking about the true spirit and joy of Christmas that we felt as kids. Because as adults, we get lost in the to-dos and making the holiday perfect for our kids, and we put all this pressure on ourselves to follow all the trends and the recipes and the crafts and visit all the parades and local celebrations and get professional pictures done and make it to 10 different houses to celebrate. We get so lost, right? And the list goes on and on and on. And in all that, we remove so much of the pure childlike joy. And you know what? Our kids aren't going to remember that things were perfect. They're going to remember your joy, the energy that you're bringing to the holiday. And in that evening of enjoying Christmas in July with my family, I actually started to get excited for Christmas to come back. Now, look, I know I've already seen it on my social media that some of y'all want to put your trees up today. I'm not that girl. I'm not judging. I'm not that girl. It was fun for an evening, but I love summer and I don't want to see it go. And thinking about Christmas in July before this felt stressful to me because of what I related Christmas to. So my husband could say just 5 words and totally stress me out, right? We are halfway to Christmas. I'm sweating already. I'd think, of course, you would be excited for this, sir. You're not responsible for creating the magic of Christmas. But all of this that evening made me realize the magic of Christmas isn't something that you do, it's already there, and you're blocking it with all that you're telling yourself you have to do. Literally, I'm clouding it with to-do lists. Everything has to be done just right. The perfect Christmas cookie recipe, the perfect gifts, the perfect wrapping and stocking stuffers, the perfect decor, the perfect meals planned. I have to make sure we visit everyone, attend this and that event, follow these Christmas trends because everyone else is doing it with their kids, right? December is a month of chaos. No, I'm not wishing for it in July. Not that version of it anyway. But when I lay down the need for it to all go perfectly, like I did in that evening of Christmas in July with my family, I felt the Christmas I loved as a child again. And this episode isn't just about Christmas. I got thinking about how I've let my desire for things to go perfectly hold me back altogether from doing things I want, or it makes things take way longer than they need to take, right? Because perfectionism is that mean girl voice in my head. It's destructive. And it highlights my fear of not being good enough. And maybe it highlights your fear of failure in other areas of your life. Fear of looking stupid or being criticized. What was coincidental about me coming to this realization is that I was thinking about all this after my family celebrated that evening, and then at that same time I had hit a chapter in this book that I've been loving. It's called Everything is Figure Outable, and the chapter is on perfectionism. And I'll actually put the link in my show notes for this book. I just finished it this morning, actually, and I plan to keep this one close to my desk to refer to it often. It's that good and will change my approach to stress and problems moving forward. The chapter is titled Progress, Not Perfection. It is chapter 8. I actually have the book here, by the way. If you're on YouTube, you can see that it comes the soft cover copy. actually looks a little bit different than the hardcover copy. So in case you look it up on Amazon and you're like, that's not what hers looks like, that's why. I think the soft cover actually comes up, and then you can click to select the hardcover, and it's a totally different cover. So but yeah, go to chapter 8 if you grab this book. And in that chapter, Marie said, in regards to perfectionism, it's often the primary blocking device that prevents you from becoming, achieving, and feeling your best. The primary blocking device that prevents you from becoming, achieving, and feeling your best. And when you put it like that, nothing about perfectionism is helpful, is it? Unlike high standards are encouraging, motivating. Universally, we all have a fear of not being good enough. And when this fear becomes perfectionism, as it can turn into, we miss out on so much, not just in trying things and creating things and going after our dreams and goals, but also in feeling things. Like I talked about having missed out on that childlike joy of Christmas, the fun, togetherness, and the laughter. One of her quotes from the book that I love and makes me giggle too: starting small and sucky beats staying stucky. It's just one of those catchy things, right? Starting small and sucky beats staying stucky, because that's so true. Perfectionism keeps you stuck on that hamster wheel, chasing it. I love helping others get started on their health and wellness journeys with the Beachbody, now Body platform. That platform changed my life 8.5 years ago, and I know that it can change others too. But I always get a little bit nervous when I have a new client reach out to me and start asking me questions like, I'm going to a birthday party this weekend. Any tips to not eat a slice of cake? Or I can't do squats because of an injury, so working out feels like a waste of time. It's that all or nothing mentality that can totally sabotage any potential that you have of reaching your goals. It's the idea that if you have a slice of cake, you're a failure. It's the idea that if you can't do a squat, you suck and you should quit. It's the mentality of, I like food too much, I'll just never look like that. Another comment that I get a lot on my social media. But if we just keep it simple and just start small, we will get to witness how much more productive progress is versus chasing perfect. Because real change, real impactful change, is practically invisible as it's happening. So a little announcement here. The wait list is in the show notes for my first self-published 365-day guided journal, driver's seat journal. You guys have been hearing me talking about this in and out of episodes for the last forever. It's been since last fall. Feels like forever to me. And you can read about this journal in the waitlist link and sign up to be notified on release day, Friday, August 23rd, 2024. Yes, when this episode publishes, this coming Friday, August 23rd. And I'm pretty excited to see it in your hands and to see it inspiring others to elevate their mindset every single day. The prompts in that journal helped me keep fighting for my life during a particularly hard season, and I know that it's meant to make an impact in the lives of many. I started working on this journal last fall. My initial goal was published and ready for purchase on January 1st, 2024. And then that became March-ish. And then it was July 1. And then it was July 14th. And then, okay, maybe on my birthday, July 31st. And now here we are. And it's finally ready to go and ready for purchase on August 23rd. Why all the delays? Well, the recent delays were hiccups, as I learned the entire self-publishing and drop shipping process the hard way. But prior to that, months went by where I stopped progress entirely, where I doubted myself and the impact that I could have and the value that I could offer, my design capabilities, my ability to figure out how to get this to a point of sale. And why would anyone want to buy my journal? You can get a journal at Walmart. Why would anyone want my prompts when my life is far from perfect? Why would anyone spend their money on something I created? What am I thinking? Those are all thoughts that I had numerous times throughout the process of creating this thing. But the truth is, there's thousands of journals that people could buy. There's thousands of different intentions and stories and voices behind the creation of those journals, but none of them are mine. And none of them were created from my unique story. So I don't need to convince anyone to buy my journal. I don't need to convince everyone to buy my journal. My story will bring the people that it's supposed to impact to me. All I have to do is put my guard down and stop comparing and stop trying to be perfect and share it. And when I made my mind up that I would do exactly that, just like I made my mind up that I would get those Christmas decorations out in 30 minutes, progress went a lot faster. Progress goes a lot faster when you stay centered in your why and you approach the small steps with joy. In what ways is perfectionism weighing you down? Where are you disguising it as having high standards or covering for your fear of failure, being criticized and not being good enough? What would you start today if you made progress your goal and not perfection? Because life doesn't require perfection. It simply requires that you keep showing up. Just show up, keep working. Small steps become big steps. Celebrate your progress. Inject joy where there is none. See failures as lessons and faded redirections, because little by little becomes a whole hell of a lot. And too often we rob ourselves of joy by waiting for everything to go perfectly and forgetting what we are working for in the first place. I got my draft copy of my journal back, and at first I thought, oh, I want to tweak this and I want to tweak that and I want to add that and maybe I should change that. And then I realized, along with my husband, who was sitting there with me looking at it almost at the same time, we realized that it was perfect. And I can keep tweaking and delaying this and chasing perfect, answering the fear of not being good enough call, or I can publish this beautiful thing that came out of a very challenging season of my life. I can publish this beautiful thing that will have an incredible impact on the lives of others. I know it in my heart that it will, because it had an impact on mine. And I won't let perfectionism steal that from the lives that this journal is meant to impact. And I won't let perfectionism steal my Christmas joy. I'm going to need to play this episode again in November. But yes, you can get your hands on the driver's seat journal this coming Friday. So please head to that waitlist in the show notes, set your reminders. I'll be notifying you as soon as it releases. How can you dismantle perfectionism in your own life today? I want you to share it with me. Use that new text feature in the show notes. It's a new fun way for me to hear from you guys. I did get a text, and I believe I know who this one's from, because it says it was from Georgetown, Delaware, and she said she wants to be like me when she grows up, and I know who that is. So keep using that feature, you guys. Let me know how you're gonna dismantle perfectionism in your own life today. Let me know if you're gonna buy the journal on Friday or just any other thing that you want to share with me. I'm always here, always rooting for you. As always, take time to leave the show a rating and review, and follow or subscribe, depending on which platform you're tuning in on, to not miss a future episode. Have a great week. Talk soon, friends. Until next episode.